Welcome to the Boston's Big Four podcast. Cast. New news about music and sports every week, sometimes.
We're back. Another episode of Boston's Big Podcast. Special episode. Kind of, I don't want to call this an anomalous episode, but it's actually our second author in a row that we've interviewed. So I don't know if that's how it's going to come out on the episodes, but I just want you guys to know we interviewed two authors in a row. Kind of fun. An author, a writer in general, because you're not just authoring books. I don't want to. I don't know if that pigeonholes you just into books.
No.
A creator, all around good guy. We got Cillian Dunne with us. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, really excited. So I want to first thank Connor Holloway for the introduction.
Of course.
Yeah.
We met in LA in the Snake Pit. If you guys ever end up in LA, go to the Snake Pit, hit up Connor. Usually something's going on. You might meet a cool guy like Cillian. So just want to put that out there. Thanks, Connor. And thank you for coming on. I first want to talk about, my understanding was that you wrote, or at least contributed to Conrad. Was that my
Yeah, I
understanding?
wrote it.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
That's
what I
awesome.
thought, but I didn't want to put it all on you just in case. Okay.
No, well, I did, like, it's my name on the script, but, like, Connor had so much influence in it, too, because he...
Does have his name all over it.
Yeah, but he didn't want his name on the script for whatever reason. Maybe that'll change, like, as time goes on if we do, like, the feature-length film, but, like, we first met... oh my god, like 2021 or something like that. And then he stayed at my apartment in LA, but it was like me and my buddy Michael, who went to college with Connor. We were like mutual friends. And then Connor stayed for like a week. He did a bunch of marketing stuff for like Apple Cinema at the time. And then after he left, he texted me and he was like, yo, he basically was like, I don't know any other writers, like, but I have this idea. Do you want to write it? And I was like, I don't know anyone that can actually like make a movie. So yeah,
A match made in heaven.
dude,
This is like how Reese's was first made.
yeah. I was like, it was basically just like two guys who like absolutely needed like one thing.
Yeah.
For Connor was like needed a writer. For me, I like needed someone with like all the balls to like go out there and just like scrap a movie together, which is
And
absolutely
he certainly
Connor
got him.
Holloway.
Yeah.
That is absolutely him.
Yeah.
Yes. What was your initial impression of Connor when you first met him?
I honestly thought you would have known him longer. So that's
Well, I've
interesting
met
to
him
know.
technically in Providence because my buddy Michael was friends with him since like freshman year, and then my friend Jacob Barry went to high school. He like grew up in the same town as Connor in Lincoln.
Yep.
And so they knew each other from probably prior to high school, but I knew about Connor for like a long time. And then when Connor like came out to visit, everybody sort of put two and two together. It's like, oh, you know, Jacob Barry, like known him forever, like yada, yada, yada. But we only really became friends, like, I want to say like 2021 maybe, but there was a ton of connections there. And also like my buddy Michael had been in a lot of his skits during college.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I used to watch those because like Michael's my best friend. I'd be like either making fun of him or like being like sending it to other people or whatever because they were genuinely really funny.
Yeah.
And I just like knew who Connor was like because he was like making the videos. So yeah.
Nice. I like how that was so organic. I thought you were going to say you knew each other from childhood or something like that. You seem just like immediately
No.
a mesh. So it's great to find someone that you can be in sync with.
Yeah.
Like
it happened
that.
like right away as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy to work with. So how much of Conrad was a concept, and how much did you I mean, I don't know how much you want to give out the sauce, but like, were there parts that weren't there that are there now? From
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I won't give too much away. I'll give enough away because the movie comes out in 2 weeks, or like the short film comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
December 4th.
Which it will be
Coincide
passed,
with this.
It will be passed by, so it will already be out by now. It is out right now. We think it's awesome.
Well, you guys have seen it. Have
We
you seen
have,
it?
yeah.
You've seen it, right? Yeah. It is pretty awesome.
It
I
is
will
awesome.
say, like, it's very funny. And it's very funny. Like, it's super, like, silly.
Yeah.
Like, it's so silly.
But I like
but
that
it's like,
there's that realism of, like, if you've ever seen any type of high fantasy,
Yeah.
it's just like that. But I'm also
Visually,
hearing
it's incredible. Yeah.
I'm hearing Brethren. I'm hearing Snake
Yeah, yeah.
Pit. It just is like also
Yeah.
pulling me into that familiarity, which I love. So,
Definitely.
and it's, I think it's done correctly. And we had said this we actually did a small review on our first Boys podcast back because we took a small hiatus and people have probably
Yeah.
forgotten because we've been so back and so consistent for so long.
We are so
They
bad.
forgot about our hiatus. But our first episode back, we did we didn't show it, but we watched it and we did a quick review.
Nice.
And at the time, I remember saying, I see the movie. Of course, this isn't a full movie, but like I see what the movie's supposed to be. I'm seeing the
Right.
beats, and I know where it's going to grow. I think I know where it's going to grow.
Yeah.
We'll talk off mic later and make sure I'm correct.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to spoil it. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. No, I won't do it. I won't do it. I'll sign that Marvel NDA, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you got. But I liked it, and I saw what it was. I saw what it was supposed to be. And I like that there's that the acknowledgement of the silliness, because like there's so much high fantasy out there right
Yeah.
now. And if it takes itself dead seriously, I can't do it. Like, I don't know if you're watching like The Witcher at all, the latest
No,
season.
with Hemsworth, is that
He's the new one. I haven't
he's the
seen
new
any
Witcher,
of
right?
that.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it. No.
You can't recast the main character. That's crazy. Just end it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or animate it. I don't know. Like, what's the deal? I think they did animate The Witcher, actually.
Oh, really?
I think there is a separate series animated of The Witcher. Anyways,
Yeah.
Speaking of animated, though, isn't there an animated version of Conrad?
There was a time where we were like pitching like a feature length animated project to like studios and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to like say about that, but it's
Oh,
it's
okay,
like
fair
dead. It's
enough,
like
yeah.
dead in the water. But we pitched like Disney and everything. Like we had like a full essentially a full package. We didn't have a director, but we had sort of like everything else, like including like talent for like the main parts and like writers, obviously, but also like other writers too.
Okay.
And yeah, like we had like art done and like everything, and it was gonna be super sweet, but it's not happening anymore, and now that's why we're like able to release Conrad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And fair enough. We like to see it, and we know that works. That formula of releasing it anyways, and then you
Yeah.
get the eyes on it, and then maybe something else hits anyways. So it's nice that it's not tied up in a contract or anything like that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's it's kind of a nightmare creatively. So I'm excited. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get the Conrad stuff out of the way early because people they're going to see that. That's fresh. And another thing that's even fresher, this book that just came out.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated because we were talking a little bit before off mic, and like I said, I don't claim this qualifies me for anything, but a couple years back I watched like the whole Narcos series. Started getting through all the documentaries of what's going on in Central and South America. Don't claim to know everything. Started to scratch the surface, and I found it fascinating how things operate there, how we live in a bubble kind of in America.
Yeah.
I mean, first things first, culture. You stayed in, I believe it was Panama, right?
Yeah. Panama.
What was that like?
Panama was awesome. I loved it. I was like a little intimidated going there at first because I had never been to I'd never been to Central America, and like I speak Spanish like kind of well, but not like very well.
It's got to
Like-
be great now, right?
It's pretty good now, but like nothing.
Humble.
Nothing like very good. Like I also, especially like after a couple drinks, like I'm not
Okay,
great.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm slurry. But but anyway, like I still was excited to go when I got the opportunity to go down, and like I had like a very good time. It's like a very cool country. It's definitely like the view that people have on it for some reason is just like not the way it is whatsoever. Like it's like awesome. Like it's more similar to like what Costa Rica is than
Okay. I've
like
heard-
what people assume it is, like the old style Colombia for whatever reason.
Yeah, because Panama is the choke point, right? Like you have to go
Yeah.
through Panama to get up to America. And my understanding was there is a heavy cartel presence, but because it's the only place to go by land, that it's actually safer because you have to be able to get through. If there's trouble, then it chokes everything up.
It's what you're talking about is the Darien Gap. So
Oh, there's a whole name for it? I didn't know about that.
there's the Darien Gap is like it's like a unexcavated area, like it's like rainforest basically between Colombia and Panama, and it's in that little part that connects the two. I'm not sure how big it is, but it's quite large, and like migrants pass through there all the time and whatever. But it's really dangerous because one, there's like a lot of wildlife that can kill you there, and two, the cartels use it, or like they have traditionally used it, and I'm sure they still do continue to use it as like either like refining places for making the drugs, or like as like transport. Like a lot of there have been cases of like airstrips constructed in the Darien Gap, like areas of like woods being like chopped down and like airstrips being created and like flying it. Like, that scene in the movie like American Made where Tom Cruise has to like fly over the trees, like shit like that, where it's like they carve out like an airstrip in the middle of the woods. So the Darien Gap, it's really dangerous for like those two reasons. It's also just like, it's, the weather is unpredictable. There's a lot of rain in that part of the world. When you're in like a densely wooded area, like, shit just gets fucked up. You know what I mean? And even if let's say like you fall and you get like a really bad cut, like that's getting infected. Like you can't go to a hospital, you can't patch it up. It's like a lot of people die for reasons like that.
Really? You got to bring like a couple cycles of antibiotics with you in the woods?
I guess. I mean, I've only ever watched videos about it. I've never like visited there, but I've watched videos of guys, like this was really good YouTuber called Bald and Bankrupt. He's like this, he's like a British guy who like travels around the world, but usually to like Soviet countries or to like, you could say like risky areas.
Okay.
And he traveled through the Darien Gap. Like he moved with the migrants through the gap. And this guy, like I've watched videos of this guy like literally get detained in Russia by the government. And the most disheveled he had ever been was traveling through the gap. And when he got through the other side, he was like, that was the most horrific experience of my entire life.
Wow.
Really?
And it's, and
like being fucked with by people or just the elements?
Both. I think with him, it was more the elements.
Okay.
He did have to deal with like the cartels and stuff, but I think it was more so like the elements and also like watching other migrants like fall victim to the Darien. But like the highway, like the Pan-American Highway or the Trans-American Highway, whatever they call it.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a highway that, in theory connects the Americas. Like it shuts off at the Darien. So like, you can technically drive from Boston to Panama right up until the edge of the Darien Gap, technically. Like we could get there in a car right now. But once we hit the Darien Gap, there's no way through until you get to the Colombian side, and there's like a town there, and then you can get a car and whoosh.
So if you go through, but there's population on either side of the Darien.
Well,
Gap,
it's just like two different countries. It's like Panama is this side, Colombia is this side.
Oh, I'm thinking the long way though. So you do, no matter what, you got to go through that.
No matter what, you got to go through the gap.
And it's just woods? So there's no vehicles going between them ever?
No, it's just woods. It's just woods. You can get a boat.
Chad, I just learned that. That's
you
crazy.
You can get a boat around it. You can fly over it, but
probably
you
by
cannot
design though.
drive through it. You gotta like, you gotta walk through it or like hike or whatever you want to call it, because you gotta like climb shit and whatever. But
wow,
it's legit, and people do it every day. Like migrants from Latin America, that a lot of them that want to come to the US will cut through the Darien Gap, and the reason is once you get to Panama, it's a lot easier to sort of shoot up through to Latin America, to the US, or at least to like Mexico or something. Like Mexico's like really harsh on like illegal migrants because like it's so easy for them to pass through the gap and then like shoot up through Mexico.
So is the gap drivable at all? Like at all?
No, it's
so cartels bring loads up there and then they walk them through or fly, like walk them to an airstrip that then flies.
No.
It seems like a lot of logistics.
No, I think it's like refined in the woods. So there would be like teams of people that like live in the Darien essentially, and they live there. They work there. Their work is like refining the drugs, and then they have a lot of land, and so they build like an airstrip big enough for like Cessnas, like smaller planes to like land or whatever. I'm saying this like I have been there myself. I have not, but it's been like well documented that like this stuff happens, and like especially in like the not really the 70s, but like the 80s in Panama, there was a lot of this stuff. And in 1984, 1985, there were two like really big like historic drug busts, one of which was like in the Darien Gap, and it was like this massive drug bust that involved like Escobar's cartel.
Is that the one where they sorry to interrupt, and also I'm probably wrong because I think they probably use creative freedom, but they show like the guy, they call him the cockroach. He's in like, I think it was probably Peru, I think is where it starts. They line him all up, shoot him. The one guy happens to not get hit and he lives, plays dead, gets up. He ends up being Pablo's refiner, and that's like how the show starts. I don't know if like that really happened or yeah.
I have
like,
no idea either, but this is like a different thing because this happened like probably 10 years after that would have happened in the show.
Oh,
this
I see.
happened in like 84.
Well, my time's all off, and I'm so sorry.
Well, this happened like 85. I think Escobar and like those and like the Ochoas and like those guys started their cartel in like 74 or 75, maybe 76, but like somewhere in like the mid 70s there.
One of them just got out.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, which guy was it?
I think it was Miguel. The other one died, I thought.
Was it Miguel that got out?
I think so, yeah.
And then Carlos later got out a couple years ago. Yeah, a couple years ago, I think. Which I didn't realize, but I
thought they put him under the jail.
There was a guy in Panama who was like, yeah, if you want to write a book about this guy, you can.
Yeah.
And I
Fabio.
Truthfully didn't know like a ton about him. I'd honestly just heard read the name or heard the name, like it was slightly familiar. And it was like not like a real like offer, it was like a loose offer, or like honestly it was someone just probably like claiming to know more than they actually did. But yeah, that's how I learned that like he got out of prison.
Wow.
I don't know where he is. I think he's in Colombia. I could be wrong about all this too, but like, did you look it up? Is it
so? The two main Ochoas got 5 years in Colombia and have been out for years. One of the brothers, Fabio, got extradited to the U.S. and he just got out last year, like 1 year ago.
Wow.
Crazy that they would do him like that,
Yeah.
but you know, I don't
look
feel
up
bad
Carlos
for him.
later.
Is Carlos later out? So there's like a Joey Diaz bit of he got out in 2020.
Okay.
Okay.
Way. Joey Diaz was talking about, he's like, because he did like fucked up shit. He was going to like the Bahamas and stuff, and he was the Hispanic Barry Seal, because then Barry Seal would pick his shit up and then come to the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? That was my understanding, and he did like not just drug trafficking. I think, right?
I don't really know like all that much about later, but he was a very important guy.
Yeah.
That's what I do know. And there were like a lot of, like you say, like Barry Seal, like there were tons of Barry Seals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Do you believe Freeway Rick Ross that he actually sold Barry Seal's cocaine?
I don't really know about that. Like I've seen it on like Instagram and stuff, and like any opinion I would give on it is just like a dumbass.
Yeah,
opinion.
I feel you. I mean, that's how I feel this whole conversation. So his original sentence, by the way, which is why I was under the impression, because people were joking about like all the fucked up shit this guy did, he's not getting out. And apparently he got out. But his sentence, life imprisonment plus 135 years. So life plus 135. Let's remember, not just 135.
What is the point of that?
Which was commuted to 55 years, and the time served is over 33 years. So he got out in 33, which just sounds like what the Ochoa's got. I feel like after like a generation, people might just forget, and they're like, "What's this guy doing in here?"
Yeah,
just let him out.
I know, right?
That's so weird. But so isn't the purpose of like, this is a different conversation, but like life plus a certain number of years, I think has something to do with like your estate. Like this, like the government still owns your property, I think. So like if you die with assets, like
really?
your family can't get it.
Interesting.
No way.
All right. I always wondered that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is the
think
point
that
of
it's
that?
something like that. I'm
I
pretty
always
sure.
thought that
yeah.
was just kind of like a fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I think it's also a little bit of that. Like
Yeah.
to show
You're in
people-
jail till you die and then some.
And also
it's
like,
like you're so bad that
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Even when
you
you're
know.
dead, you're still in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think some jails and judges probably have like deals where it's like, you know, on if you're good and you're in this program, like a day is 2 days, so
Yeah.
you might be able to like work
no,
their
they
sentence
do.
down faster.
Yeah, I used to work as I used to do ghostwriting for a prison consultancy. And
new pod.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
All right.
part of the role of a prison consultant you're essentially like a mitigation strategist.
Oh, this was the other book, Dreams in Incarceration.
Yeah. So
Okay,
how I got into this kind of ghostwriting was I wrote Dreams in Incarceration, where I met at one of Connor Holloway's events. I met that one of the security guards was a former Crip who had just gotten out of prison like a few months prior, maybe like 6 or 7 months or something like that. And his name is David Spivey, and I was like working the event with Connor that night, and I met David because like it was, you know, a shitty night in LA. Like nobody came to the event. It was like raining and whatever. I had a bunch of time to talk to Dave, and I just like really liked the guy. You know, I had good fun with him, and then I like followed him on Instagram, saw a bunch of his stuff. He posts a lot of like stuff about him, you know, being in prison and like whatever. So I really dig his story. I write this. I quit my job, like my 9-to-5 job, to write the book.
Wow.
I like write a prison book about him, interview like all these like former Bloods and Crips, like prison wardens, like shit like that, like psychologists that work in prisons, and then release the book, self-publish it, and I start sending out to people like in the prison community, and end up like giving like a lecture at San Francisco State with Dave in like a criminal justice class. Like a bunch of really great stuff happened, but one of them was I got the book to like this prison consultant, this mitigation strategist sort of company where mostly like white collar defendants like will hire a prison consultant and be like, you know, what can I expect in prison? And then as well as that, they get help like writing like documents. Like they get help like writing their own story so that they're understood better.
Fair enough.
And
I think most of us need that, to be honest.
And I was just like I was a ghostwriter for that because I wrote about Dave, and I just like I worked on like a freelance basis. It wasn't always white collar defendants. Sometimes you worked with people that like were truly in need of it, and they had like bad lawyers or whatever, and they just wanted like a 2 or 3 page document like telling their story. But it ended up being like really fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like it was super cool. And yeah.
What was your goal like in making that book, and do you feel like you accomplished it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a really cool story, first of all. Like it was like Dreams in Incarceration is a book where like 2/3 of the chapters are like the plot of like Dave being in prison, actively trying to dissociate from his gang, which is like a really difficult thing to do.
That, yeah.
You can't do that, you know, especially in prison. You like dissociation at the or at least this is how I understand it. Like dissociation at like the simplest level is like you're not being loyal to those that are being loyal to you. Yeah, you know, and loyalty is everything. And so Dave actively was trying to find a way to like not break the bonds of like the gang that he had like grown up with, while also trying to like better himself and advocate himself for like an early release, because he had received 100 years to life. That was his sentence, right?
Wow.
And he killed someone when he was 17 years old. So this kid was like,
Oh my God. So he's like Morgan Freeman from Shawshank.
yeah,
That's
he
crazy.
was like a teenager when all this was going down.
Oh.
And then, you know, he ended up serving 15 years, and he got his sentence commuted by the governor of California at the time. I forget who it was. But he, you
Shout
know,
out Arnold, probably.
I was gonna say Schwarzenegger.
no. It was, I think Governor Brown.
Okay.
Might be. I don't know if even that's correct, but that's
It's probably not important.
yeah. But yeah, but then he got out, and he's just doing sort of, yeah, it's just like doing life like the right way. So I didn't have like really an agenda with the book. I wasn't like I'm gonna write this and become like an expert in like the prison education world, because I'll never be an expert. I never went to prison.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like just amplifying like like nobody else was gonna tell Dave's story.
Right.
Dave's story is awesome. You know what I mean? Like it's so fucking awesome. But people just have
Probably was Brown. I'm seeing Brown in here.
yeah, Governor Brown. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
People just have
confirm things.
prejudice. You know what I mean? They're
Of
like,
course, yeah.
They're like, oh, you wrote a book about a guy who killed someone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a legitimate concern. Like when you hear that, you're like, why would I read that book? And you're like, why wouldn't you read that book? Like, don't you want to know why he did it? Don't you want to
Yeah.
know like
Oh,
what he
it's so
felt
cute.
like
Oh, so
afterwards?
I think it's
Yeah.
important to talk to people, even if you don't think they're the
Yeah.
best person. Like
Oh.
you can learn so much from good people, bad people. Like
Absolutely.
you should, yeah.
And Dave like had like revelations because of this, and he did a terrible thing, like an unspeakably terrible thing, and he knows that, and he's lucky to be out. But like he earned his way out. You know what I mean? And that's what the
Yeah.
book is sort of like about. It's like it's showing him like 2/3 dissociating from his gang and like earning his way out, and then 1/3 of the book. I just wanted to make it like I wanted to give it like my own little bit of flavor. So I had him like recount to me some of the like the nightmares that he had while he was in prison, the ones that he remembered, and then I made those chapters so that like you could see his like psychological, how prison was affecting him psychologically and physically as well. So like you could, it's almost like you could jump in and out of his mind, like
Yeah.
in the book, and understand like how and why he's feeling.
Yeah,
way
that's
he is.
terrifying.
That's
I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
I can only imagine like what it must be to wake up in a terrifying state and then realize you're in a terrifying place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, I guess I can't go.
Dude,
yeah,
it's
gotta
crazy.
be horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm noticing is it sounds like you are kind of putting yourself adjacent to a lot of like what people I don't want to it's my choice of words here I want to be careful with, because I know I've heard you talk about this a little bit in other conversations of like what is necessarily a bad thing or a
Yeah.
bad person. So like you are putting yourself with these people in, not, I don't want to say in these situations because you're not doing what they've done or
Yeah.
whatever the stories are, but getting next to them, hearing their story, and kind of getting to know them as people, I think first of all shows an empathy in you that, like you said, most people would hear like murderer, not going to talk to him. Like I'd rather just talk to the people
Yeah.
I know. And I understand that. Why'd you put yourself, if that might some individual that could seem like a dangerous situation. So like, why would I put myself in a dangerous situation?
Yeah.
I get it. So there's a bravery in it. There's a deep empathy that I'm seeing in it. And I want to know, like, what is drawing you to this? Because I know with the right-hand man, you had sort of similar experiences where you were having these conversations, trying to like pull the experiences out of this guy.
Yeah.
But having, I guess, like also to walk that line of this is not my world either. So like,
Yeah.
how do you get accepted into that and also get good information?
That's a good question. It's so hard to answer too, because it's like I enjoy the risk of it. Like none of this is like incredibly risky where like I really think I'm gonna like lose my life over it. Like it doesn't really stretch that far, but like it's just enough risk that it's like it's really new and exciting, and like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like it feels cool, even if that's probably not like the best way to like put it. Like that's just
Fair
like
enough, yeah.
the reality.
That's fair,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you feel cool like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what's really interesting about a lot of this stuff is not that like the access is unprecedented, but it's like very, very few people do like earn the trust to get into situations like this. Like
For sure.
Yeah.
when it came to like Dave and just being on the phone with like former Bloods and Crips and stuff like that from South Central Los Angeles, like I'm the last guy that like in person, like you see me, like I'm the last guy that you would expect to like be talking to guys like that. Dave even said to me, like when we finished doing the interviews for the book, I was like super close with him at that point. I was like, yo, Dave, I was like, can I ask you a question? Honestly, it's like, I'm like a white guy from Ireland. Like, why were you cool with me writing about your book? Like, I'm from a completely different place. And Dave was like, he's like, I'm not gonna lie. If I had just seen you on the street, I would have thought, man, that's one punk ass bitch.
Wow.
Direct quote.
But I got to know you, and like I dig you. Like we're boys, and it was
Love
just
that.
funny. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it just doesn't make sense. But for whatever reason, I just had like a good feeling that like that would work, and I went forward, and it worked. And Dave and I are still boys. And then the right hand man, I just got the opportunity to write the book from like a close friend of mine who like put it together, And I was just like, this is just ridiculous, but also super cool. Like flying to Central America, living with a dictator's right-hand man.
Crazy.
That is
and
crazy.
Interviewing him like with unprecedented access.
Yeah.
And
How do you even
and writing
like
a book like
get that access? So like, how did you even find out who you were?
I got a call from Jack Moran, my like very good buddy for a long time. We grew up together on the Cape. Like when I went to the Cape in the summers, like Jack was from there.
International guy's been everywhere, by the way. So,
And Jack lives in Panama now, and his business partner is a Panamanian guy who knew all of these players, right? He just grew up in that sort of world, like that, like diplomat, like politics sort of world. Mm-hmm. And so Jack calls me one day after I did like a little book signing for Dreams and Incarceration at one of Connor's events. He saw a picture from it, and he called me and he was like, hey, he said, my business partner Jose in Panama has access to this like really awesome story about like the Cold War in Central America, like the Iran-Contra affair, you know, with like Reagan and Escobar and war on drugs and all this sort of stuff. I got like the full pitch. And he was like, do you want to talk to Jose? So I did. I got on the phone with him, and Jose told me the story from like a bird's eye view, like a 30-minute short version of the story. But I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. And so I flew to Panama. I was there, my first trip there, I was there for like a month straight, mostly living with the right-hand man at this like rural beach house. Like I was pretty close by to him. We weren't in the same house, but...
and I think I heard you say no service in this location,
yeah,
right?
no service at all.
Yeah,
and
No
it was
service,
terrifying.
and he didn't really let you wander off by yourself, right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was also on like later trip, like on my third trip there, I was in his apartment
Okay.
in the city with him, and like he wouldn't let me leave.
Yeah.
But
So what is that like? So like I understand that you're in his place and you are aware of his past and what he's done,
yeah,
but it seems like there's got to be some sort of rapport. So what is he just like, please don't leave? Or is he like,
No.
you can't leave and there's someone watching you? Is it like that? Like what is is there
way-
somewhere in between there?
way slicker than that. It's
okay.
it's way slicker than that. It's like
Oh, so it's like now you just can't leave?
it's close. It's like that. It's closer to that. It's closer to that.
All right.
Yeah, it's closer. It's closer to that from like Bronx Tale, right?
Yeah. Like a gentleman.
It's way closer to that. It was more like it was more like I would say like, oh, I'm gonna go for a walk, and then he'd be like, oh, Natasha's okay, great, Natasha's gonna go with you. And that was
I
his
see. So
girlfriend.
you're supervised. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, really, it's okay. I don't want her to come. Like, I'm literally just gonna walk outside around the park for like 10 minutes and just like call my parents. And he's like, no, it's okay. Like Natasha
Wow.
will go with you. But it's like it's way slicker than like it's not forceful at all.
Yeah.
But you know that you can't say no.
Yeah. There's
It's incredibly clever. Like it's like he picked like the
Yeah.
perfect thing, like right in the middle of like forceful and
Yeah.
like weak, and he just like
I think that is like
Yeah.
that's probably where I and I say this from like I said, my American bubble, no experience to this firsthand at all. So like my understanding though is to get to that level of power, you kind of have to have like be a sociopath to an extent, but really smart and deliberate in how he knows that it's not, he's not saying he'll go with you because that's like, why are you coming with me? I'll have her come with you. And there's saying things without saying them is really where, and him being aware of that is, I think that unspoken language, and I'm really kind of like going to cinema on this, like, or like just TV. I'm thinking of like in The Sopranos, like some of the conversations you can tell there's that underlying, like, I'm saying this nice to you, but I'm the boss and you know that, and you got to do what I say.
Yeah.
So
Sopranos is a really good example because it is similar in a lot of ways.
Okay.
But the connection that you have to make is that like the reason why they're similar is because like these guys were gangsters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, Carlos and all of these like dictators guys, for the most part, were gangsters. You had like a lot of soldiers that like worked for the army, like the Panama Defense Forces, which, you know, they were just military guys, but you know, Carlos and the guys in Noriega's inner circle that like benefited from the regime, like they were gangsters, just like, you know, Tony Soprano and like the Jersey Mob from the
Spanish,
series.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's just slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it came to like the speech of those guys and like the physical mannerisms, like it matches that stuff really well. Like but it all just came down to like trust, you know, like I hadn't earned trust. I hadn't really earned trust with any of those guys because it was the first time meeting them. So I just sort of, I was really just like as much of a fly on the wall as I could possibly be. I'm just like recording stuff.
Are you being like fed well? I imagine he's doing well, like financially. So like, what's going on? Like you guys, you eating nice? Like how
it wasn't anything like nuts. But he had an apartment in Panama City, and it was
a
like
beach house.
Well, it's hard to explain like the moving parts of like everybody that's involved.
Oh, not
but
his beach
one of the
house.
guys, one of the like financiers has like several properties, and like among those properties are like the beach houses that the first round of interviews took place at.
Okay.
Those interviews ended because like civil unrest broke out in Panama, like this big, basically like riots all over the country.
While you were there?
While I was there, and we had to like flee in the middle of the night from like the beach house back to the city. Yeah, dude.
Flee, like things were actively happening around you and you're like dodging to get out?
I say
take us through that.
I say flee with a dramatic flair, but I
dramatize it, baby.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
I say it with a dramatic flair. But what essentially happened was this: it was I believe it was a Canadian mining company, but it was this big company that that bribes like the Panamanian government to allow for like all of these excavations all over Panamanian land.
Okay.
And like
do we like this or no?
No, and this is like a bad thing.
Okay.
I do this because like it doesn't
Sorry, a
affect.
little closer to the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You're good,
It doesn't affect us like whatsoever, but in Panama, like it just affects like the local, well, I don't know about the local climate, but the local geography, like it affects it. You know what I mean? Like it's a very large portion of land that's being like
I was like,
excavated.
is the cartel cutting through red tape, helping communities? No.
and so when like word broke out about that, the entire country essentially started protesting. And we were like 6 or 7 hour drive outside of Panama City with like me, Carlos, the translator, Diego, that I had, and then Carlos's girlfriend. And we got word of all the protests, and they were like in a bunch of these tons of towns, like connecting us from the city. And there were several highways in Panama, but there's only one way back to the city. Like you can only go one way. Right,
Really?
It's not like here where
There's no other
if 93 is
entrances?
shut down, like you can go like 2 or 3 other ways and get there, and like
Wow,
not
that's
that-
such a foreign concept to me.
Yeah.
I like don't understand how you can't. Like, that road. Just take another road. What do you, there's
and
no
you just,
other road.
and you just can't take another road, right? So
Crazy.
these
gotta go through
protests
that
were
gap
happening
or whatever.
and they were happening all over the country, and they were blocking every road, especially highways, and like. I mean, these protests.
I'm sorry. They are civilians?
They're civilians.
Okay.
And they're just taking to the streets.
Okay.
And like these protests ended up happening for like 2 months or something like that. Like every day, like gas stations didn't have gas, grocery stores didn't have like stock, like shit like that. There were stories.
I must have heard about this. This was in 2021?
It was in 2023.
3?
Yeah. And
I should have known about this.
There's a lot of wild shit
I
going
was
on in the
kinda
world that
busy
we
in
don't
2023.
hear about.
Oh my god.
why? What was happening?
I just need to say I was busy in 2023. That's why. Because I should have known about this.
No. This wasn't reported on by like.
That's what I mean.
Any
There's so much
big-
stuff that we don't hear about here. Yeah.
The only thing that was reported on was there was an American guy, or like an American citizen. I don't know if he was like born, bred America or whatever, but a guy that held an American passport was wicked pissed off at like one of these roadblocks with all these civilians, and he whipped out his
Classic
gun and he
American.
shot 2 people.
Excuse me.
way.
Yeah.
First of all, sick American. That's like, what are you doing, dude? That's Not helping.
No, not helping.
Yeah, I don't
No.
know if he was like born, raised in America, but like the way the papers put it
I
was
like
like
the way you
American
said it.
national
He's holding an American
Yeah,
passport, which
American
is all that
national-
matters.
pops. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think it counts? We were just talking about this before. So I'm going to use this example. My family migrated from Ireland, Scotland, some blend of that,
Yeah.
to instead of Ellis Island, New York, they went to Nova Scotia
Yeah.
and then came down.
Nice.
So sometimes my family tries to claim French Canadian.
Same with mine.
And I think that's bullshit. If you traveled through it for a couple years, does that even count?
I don't know.
I feel like you're uniquely qualified to answer this.
I'm not.
We were having this argument
I-
before the podcast.
I feel like it
I'm
doesn't.
not. Yeah, I'm not qualified to answer that. I'll put the
You're
only
more
way I can
qualified than
relate
us,
it to
probably.
My
own-
grandmother claimed French Canadian, and I'm not going to say she was wrong.
She's lying.
She was not
My
lying.
grandmother
She was
did
a good
too,
woman.
and I don't believe it. Yeah.
The only way I can relate it to my own family is on my mom's side, my great grandfather. So my great grandfather and like 2 generations back or 3 generations back. So it was only like a small part of like my overall family tree on like my mom's side were from Argentina.
Okay.
But before that they were Irish, and after that they were Irish. For whatever reason they just like went to Argentina for like 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah.
And then back to Ireland. And it's like a thing on my mom's side of the family that like we're very much acknowledging the Argentinian part of us, but like
Okay.
nobody's been to Argentina. Like none of us
This
speak
is
Spanish.
exactly
None of
my
us even
case.
look
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latin American by any means. So can we like I don't know what's the deal?
I also find it really interesting. This is like a kind of a little bit of a tangent, but like, so if you do a 23andMe, those genetics are based off
Yeah.
regional DNA from the past. So
Right.
like everyone from this area was Irish because we know from those genetics or whatever. And then now, if you check those genetics, you probably have no Argentinian unless I guess you had a couple generations. So whatever, maybe if you were there for a couple years,
Yeah.
there might be some Argentinian blood. But I'm just like, and then eventually is the whole world just going to be mixed enough that there's no way to know what region you're originally from?
That's
or
where
is
we're
there
heading,
like
I
a
think.
predominant
Who knows?
like?
Yeah.
So it's kind of becoming a moot point because I'm like, I don't even know if that DNA information is really like, as long as you're making sure you're not related, like, is it even really relevant? Because
Yeah.
where you live geographically doesn't have anything to do with it otherwise, as long as you're healthy. So, anyways, it's just an interesting topic that came up
It is.
beforehand. So I was like,
Shout out to all the French Canadians out there.
yeah. Are you real though? Double check your 23andMe and then claim whatever that says. So yeah, we did actually we touched on it a little bit. You spent a lot of time in the Cape. So you're a Boston, Massachusetts guy.
Yeah.
But also very clearly Irish.
Well, like
So-
I don't know how clear it is anymore. Like
I hear it, dude.
You sound Irish, dude.
I don't know, man. I think I sound American, but
Wait, clip it. That's hilarious. I believe you because there's first of all so much blending, like we were saying. There's like I don't even know if there is an American accent. There's like
Yeah.
a plain English accent that might have no.
America has a lot
Inflection.
of different accents. Like you have the Southern
Yeah.
accent. You got New Yorkers.
And is there one that you would call American?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think the one that gets pulled most often is the Southern.
Southern, yeah.
'Cause that's
Southern definitely gets pulled
Yeah.
the most.
Yeah.
Southern and like Valley Girl, LA,
LA,
gets
yeah.
pulled.
For
Boston gets
sure.
pulled.
Boston
quite a
gets
bit.
pulled in movies a lot.
Boston
Yeah.
and New York both like
Yeah.
get their
I do New York a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I'm acted like when I'm trying to act flustered, it's really
Yeah.
easy to be like, what the fuck?
I'll do like
Walking
the
in.
Tony Soprano pretty almost every day. Yeah.
Then just heavy breathing.
Yeah, I'll do a Tony Soprano almost every day. Yeah.
I actually do too. Yeah, I do love my Tony
Yeah.
Soprano isms.
Yeah. Especially if you're eating cold cuts or something like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
impossible not to.
Heavy breathing, mouth
Yeah.
mashing. What the fuck? Do you have any idea how hard this is? Every decision you make affects every fucking thing. It's
I
too
love
much.
that.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
And then you have the Midwestern accent. That's an interesting one too.
Yeah.
That one's like kind of Canadian a little bit.
I like that one. It's kind of
Yeah.
wholesome.
Yeah,
The-
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about like Fargo. They're all
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah, me
basically-
too.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting stuff.
It is. Yes, a lot of accents.
Well, so coming from that blend, what is it like like it sounds like you were pretty much back and forth. Did you find yourself to be like one of those tweener kids, like American in Ireland, Irish in America?
Totally. Yeah, it's
So-
like the perfect way to describe it.
I feel like in a way you can leverage that and be like, hey,
Yeah, you
I know
can.
a little bit more about the world than you.
As
you
you
know?
get older, you can
Yeah.
leverage it. But when you're a
sure.
teenager, like nobody gives a fuck.
Like, I'm from here, shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck when you're a teenager. But as you get older, you use it to your advantage. I met someone who was similar, but like had two different countries instead of like Ireland and America, and they called it a cultural suspension. You're like suspended between the two.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting like sort of image to have for that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. So that's how I sort of see it in a way. But I think like it's like, you know, it's like code switching, right? It's like
Just thinking that, yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
code switching. It's like when you're in Ireland, like you're more Irish. When you're in the
Right.
US, you act more American, depending on the situation.
Code switching is a
Or-
valuable skill.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's legit because you did grow up in both places
Mm-hmm.
and you can do it effortlessly. But it is code switching. It's like
Yeah.
you're changing.
Do you think
Who you
that
are.
so do you think that code switching at all helps you write from someone else's perspective? 'Cause
Yeah,
I've-
I think cultural perspective. It's not something that like every writer like needs to know because like you just depending on the story that you want to write, like you might not need that. You might write a story about like a small town and it's your small town and whatever. But if you're writing about like geopolitics, like The Right Hand Man, or like if you're trying to step into the shoes of like a gang member from South Central Los Angeles, like you need to understand what kind of differences exist between two cultures and then apply it. So like between growing up in Dublin and growing up in Boston, there are a lot more similarities than not. Like they're two incredibly similar places because
Yeah.
Boston's so like heavy on the Irish. It's like Irish and Italian here, and obviously like some like Cape Verdean and like Haitians and stuff too. But there's a lot of similarities. But it's like you sort of look at what's different about them, and then you can be like, okay, it's different for these reasons, and then you can apply like your own experience to like Panama,
yeah.
you know, and be like, okay, these are the similarities between like Dublin and Panama and Boston and Panama, and then these are also like this is what's different from what I know. And then
Yeah.
you just like, yeah, it's like growth comes from the area like in between.
Definitely.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well, the European perspective is like something that I've never been to Europe. So like I don't really know what it's like, but the culture I've learned of and how it differs from America, like things we were taught in school, it just like wasn't a part of my life. So if I grew up with family or anyone that I would semi regularly visit, my perspective would definitely be different. Like learning about whatever I learned about, like, oh, my family's over there too. Like there's like a little more of like a, not that you have to have skin in the game kind of a thing, but just understanding that there's more than just where you live. Because what, truth be told, where I grew up, all my family's right here. Like
Yeah.
I can drive to anybody in like 40 minutes. All my cousins and uncles, aunts,
Yeah.
and everybody. So it's like there's some people like a little extended that went a couple places away, but like not too many. So just to
Yeah.
think like there's actual kin of mine somewhere else, like actually having a life across the world. And it's definitely naive, immature, and jaded of me to have grown up with those feelings, to not realize like there's things outside of Boston
No.
and Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I mean, like realizing it, but not really fully like
Right.
understanding it. So
Yeah.
having that be a part of you growing up, I'm sure, is what put you into the right place to be able to write these books and have those relationships with those guys where they're like, oh, this isn't just that like bitch boy on the street I thought I was looking at, you know? So it,
I
like,
know. It was so funny when you told me that. But
oh my God, I would have been
Yeah.
like, book's over, dude. No way.
I loved it. I hadn't even really started writing the book when he said that to me. We just finished the interviews.
Oh, wow. So it's a perfect time to wipe your hands
It was
clean.
like the perfect time, and I was
so
But
he
I loved
low-key
it.
didn't want it to happen.
He's
That's
just he's just like a genuine guy. No, it wasn't that he didn't.
No,
want,
yeah, I
he's
got
just
you.
a genuine guy. He was like, "This is what I thought of you when
Yeah.
we first
He's
met."
not going to sugarcoat
yeah,
anything.
it's
Yeah.
like you were a bitch ass motherfucker. Like he was very direct about it.
Happens to the
funny.
best of us. Someone said that to
Yeah.
me once, I think. Yeah, so I know you kind of haven't like stuck to a genre. So like these, I noticed 2 of these are based in, at least based in truth, Or I guess 3, because I realized I had missed this one was in your list. If you guys are looking for the Right Hand Man, look up Right Hand Man, Cillian Dunne, Cillian with a C, Dunne with an E at the end, on Amazon. It will come up. If you search Cillian Dunne with that same spelling, you get his other 4 books. For some reason, not this one.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I gotta fix that.
It's under his name still. I don't know. I just want to clarify that because I was
weird.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
If you do want to look it up. So you released 2 books pretty close, right?
Yeah,
so
super close.
The other one was the West Atlantic.
Yeah, Wild Atlantic.
Wild Atlantic, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
God.
it's okay.
Oh, guys, I can't remember. This has happened before we started recording. I cannot get a name right on any of these.
It's all good.
I'm
It's
getting
okay.
like 3 words or whatever. Whew. Anyways.
Wild Atlantic.
Yeah. One of the Atlantics. What? So how'd that come about? And this one's fictional.
Yeah, it's total fiction.
Because I was going to say this is part of the synopsis. Is this the one where a body washes up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
way the other one was this woman gets recruited to like get information on her husband, which now I want to read that one back.
Yeah, the Death by a Million Papercuts.
Yes.
That's a true story.
Oh, that's based on a
Oh.
true story, or it is a true story?
That's nonfiction. That's nonfiction. That's based on a true story. Yeah. So I changed names, dates, and places.
And
That's
it's-
like a real Boston story. That was like my first nonfiction book, and the only reason why I wrote it is because it was during COVID. I'd just written 2 fiction. I had like just come off my second fiction book, and like I didn't even like my second fiction book at all. I still don't. And I was like, I want something different. And my mom was at the grocery store, and she ran into this woman that she used to know from like the 80s, from like way back in the day. And my mom was like, hey, how's life been? And she was like, terrible. And then she like told my mom this sort of like the overview of like of this whole story. And my mom came back into like our house to put the groceries away, and I got up, and she was like, oh, by the way, like I met this woman that I used to know who has this like crazy story, if you're interested in writing a nonfiction book.
Wow.
And my mom has like always been like the
When did
the
you
one
start
that,
writing? This might be a whole different question because your mom knew to tell you to write about this.
I was 18 when I first started writing. I started writing scripts at first, and then I wrote my first book. I started writing my first book at 21. I released it at 22. I released my second book. My second book got traditionally published. It was 25 when that came out, or like when I signed like the papers or whatever. But I wrote it a little earlier. But this Death by a Million Papercuts, the nonfiction book, came when I was like 25, right? 25, 26. And just like my mom came back, like told me the Cliff Notes story of like what the girl had told her. And I was like, I'm not doing anything else. Like, I want to write nonfiction. Like, this sounds awesome. So I interviewed her over the course of like a few months, and like a few other people as well. And there were like private investigator reports and shit like that. And it was like a story that was like easy for me. It was like a great first story because Spotlight at the Boston Globe had like also investigated it, but not this particular story. It was like this particular story. It was like a segment of like a subset of like a much larger thing.
I don't want to elaborate, but was that particular investigation involved in any school?
Yeah, they're all schools, so they're all
Is that
boarding
Spotlight's
schools.
all about schools or just this particular one?
No, so you.
I don't want to say the name of the school.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can. Because there were like 68 schools.
Oh, okay. I mean the one that I'm thinking of that I thought maybe this was a reference to, but it must not.
Well, hit me with say the name, but it's probably not it.
We were talking about it earlier. The school that we.
Oh yeah, the school that you guys.
Yeah.
It's not that school.
Okay.
It's not that.
All right.
Just making
Yeah.
sure.
It's not that school.
Had to clear
It's a
that
different
up.
If you
school.
know, you probably know.
Yeah.
But it is what it
If
is.
you've seen the movie Spotlight, they literally have scenes at that school.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that school.
All
Okay,
right.
And
just
it's a
making
different
sure.
investigation from the movie Spotlight. It's this one. So the movie Spotlight, they investigate the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
This investigation that the Spotlight team did was into boarding schools specifically, or like schools at like Catholic schools and boarding schools. Like it was like an all-inclusive thing. But
And this is a Boston story. Like it's probably searchable.
it's a New England story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can Google search like the Spotlight report, and like it's an awesome like feature, or I don't want to call it feature, awesome report, like whatever it is. But it's really well done. It's like
good
it's
work,
awesome. But I wrote this book from the perspective of the wife of the faculty member that was like engaging in these, like implicit acts with like school kids, which is super fucked up. Like,
yeah.
it's
That's
super
fucking
fucked up.
crazy.
And
You didn't
like,
talk to that guy, did you?
no, he like I'm not gonna spoil it because the book. I like the book a lot, but he fled the country. Like he fled the country, like a lot of them do. But
Do we know where he is?
It's got to be Thailand.
not anymore. It could be.
It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
it could be. But yeah, that was like the introduction to like all the like nonfiction stuff or like investigative stuff. Not that was investigative, but it was nonfiction where like I did some investigative stuff myself, but I wasn't like a full-on investigator in any sense of the word. Like I wasn't really trying to like dig deeper on a lot of stuff. Whereas like the Panama thing, that was like for a lot of it was total investigative stuff. It was like, okay, we just got this document. Like, why did this exist? And then like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so I guess we were getting into it a little bit, but I do want to come back to the Panama and the incarceration piece because what we were angling towards was your ability to see the person through their actions and what defines a bad person. Because a comparison you had made on a different interview was Pablo Escobar. This guy Noriega was compared more to Pablo Escobar, where he realistically was more like a Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
And I asked you if that was more. I assumed Fidel Castro is probably like a level worse because he usurped a whole country for however long and just like it was his dictatorship. But Pablo Escobar did a lot of really fucked up things too. So like you said, how do you measure that? What's bad? So how do you measure that?
Yeah, it's totally subjective, first of all. But the difference that I would make between the two is Escobar was like a tyrant who held his country hostage.
Okay.
And I think that Fidel was someone who like leaned on and like fully believed in his ideology. So I think Fidel was ideological. I think Fidel Castro should be put into the same box as like Muammar Gaddafi. You know what I mean? Where like they
He should get stabbed in the ass by a crowd of people.
well, like I mean, they also did some like he did some like really fucking terrible things.
I believe it. Yeah,
He wasn't nobody's like a great leader. You know what I mean? But
that's
but-
put that on a t-shirt. Nobody's a
nobody's
great
a great leader. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
man.
heard of
We're
one.
claiming it. We're cutting that out and we're claiming it.
But
Name one great
Fidel Castro was ideological, and Escobar was just like a tyrant, right? So Escobar held his nation hostage for, I don't know, like mid-70s to when did he get killed? Like early 90s, like 92
yeah, I
or
think
whatever.
It was 92. Yeah.
It was a long time that he was a tyrant, like in power. Fidel led Cuba like right up until he died, but there were like hundreds, if not over 1,000 assassination attempts on Fidel Castro. And what the US feared about him most was that he aligned himself with a different ideology.
Yeah.
And what Fidel feared about the US was just like sheer power and like proximity. You know what I mean? So like he did things to make sure that he could survive, and
He had to be
yeah.
I don't think I could survive 5 assassination attempts. So, and that's
I was gonna
generous.
say
I couldn't
1,000
survive one.
Well,
First
it's
of all,
probably one. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, if someone tried more than once, they probably got me. That's all I have to say. Like, so he was ahead of the game, on top of all the people around him, all his staff, everyone that was ever hired, everyone that touched his food, everyone that was near him, forever.
Well,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
there's a really great quote that I have it in the book, but somebody in Panama, one of like the old like military guys said it to me. But I just think it's perfect. It's in the book a couple times. But the saying is that there isn't a plane that lands in Cuba that Castro doesn't know about.
Yeah.
Which was kind of true to a certain extent, that everybody that came in and out of Cuba, like in and out, like was sort of spectated.
Sure,
like not that
yeah.
they were like actively watched, because like you just don't have the resources
They
to
got a
do
file
that, but
on you.
they were
Yeah.
like spectated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and the case that like I kind of make it, but also Carlos, the right hand man that I lived with, and because Carlos and Fidel Castro were really close, like they owned a restaurant together, they were friends.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they were close friends.
Do you think that Fidel Castro is low key actually Liam Neeson?
No, I've seen those. I've seen those
Okay,
memes.
I just want to make sure.
They do look surprisingly
It's a
similar.
little suspicious because Liam Neeson suddenly started doing these Naked Gun movies, and Fidel Castro's dead, I guess. So
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
They do look pretty similar. They do look pretty similar. But Liam Neeson's a proud
wanted to put that
Irishman.
out there.
So I'm not going to give him away to Cuba.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He belongs to us.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you started writing when you were 18.
Yeah, I was like 18.
What were you writing about initially?
I wrote just a bunch of bullshit. Like I wrote screenplays, like screenplays that were like thrillers, crimes. Like I was really into. I'm still into it, but I was really into film noir, where like the protagonist is a detective who's
Love that shit.
like an alcoholic who's like trying to solve this crime and also put his life, like keep his life in order, like on the side. and-
Cigarettes inside.
yeah, exactly. Cigarettes inside, like we're talking like Prisoners, Seven, like all those like
Oh yeah.
super atmospheric movies.
Yeah.
I started out like really wanting to do that, and then like everything I wrote was just like dog ass. Like it was just like the worst thing you'd ever read in your entire life. But I just like
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
just
Patreon
like really loved
exclusive,
doing it
dude.
so much that I just started doing it. Like I just did it every day. I literally did it. It was like one of those things where like I literally just did it every day until I finally wrote something that somebody read and was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." And that took like 5 years. That took like 5 or 6 years.
And what was that?
It was a script called The Fisherman of Isla Morada. It's still pretty good. It's a back pocket kind of thing, because it's like it's something that like nobody would make it, because like nobody knows who I am as a writer. But
They will now.
yeah, well,
We know who you
hopefully, yeah. But one day, but the script is like solid. It's super tight. Like I spent a long time on it, and it's basically about this this like old retired fisherman who lives in the Florida Keys, like right on the water. But he never goes out to sea anymore because he's afraid. He had a shipwreck in the past,
Okay.
and he's got a best friend who he only knows through his like radio set. It's another fisherman that's like out at sea, and he talks to him every day.
Interesting.
And then one day a storm rolls over the Gulf of Mexico, and the fisherman decides to go out into the storm to save his friend, his radio friend, without knowing like who he is or whatever. And
That's a good
and it's like
storyline. I like
yeah,
that.
it's like a redemptive. It's like really emotional, super redemptive, and like it's honestly awesome.
Yeah.
And I wrote it when I was 24, so it was like 6 years. It was like 6 years into writing, and there's this thing called the blacklist in the entertainment industry, where
I think we might be on it.
no, it's not that kind of blacklist. You might be
yet.
on a blacklist, but not.
Might be on
but-
a couple.
It's like they rank the I think it's like the top 50 best unproduced scripts of the year.
Okay.
In tandem with that, they have a website where they give like ratings out of 10, and if you get an 8 or above, you're like in the top 5% of scripts or 4% of scripts or whatever. It's nothing to hang your hat on, but I remember
sounds like it might
It
be.
is. It is.
no, I remember I got into
At the
like,
time, it was a big
yeah,
accomplishment.
I got into
Yeah.
the top 4% of like scripts for the year or whatever with The Fisherman, and I was just like super hyped, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, like I'm gonna be a writer like full time. So I moved to LA, and I just like I worked like other stuff for a couple of years, but I just wrote all the time,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So that almost sounds like, and I don't want to try to make that sound derivative in any way. I'm asking, is there an inspiration with The Fisherman in the Sea? Like, is there like a parallel?
Yeah, kind of. So I love Ernest Hemingway. Like,
Okay.
I just think he's awesome. Like, The Old Man in the Sea.
Yeah.
Is
The
so
Fisherman in the Sea. I'm sorry, dude.
No, that's not good. Yeah,
I can't get any book titles right ever.
The Old Man of the Sea is awesome. Like, obviously, I think it won the Pulitzer Prize, like when it was released or whatever. Like, it's like one of the most famous books ever. But But it's just super cool, and it just like kind of works, and it's also like it's like a dude book, right? It's like kind of like a man's book. Like it's hard. I feel like it's just one of those easily recognizable. I don't know. Like it's easily recognizable, but I was definitely inspired by it. Like totally, like old man, like the ocean, like that sort of like thing. But I wanted the like friendship angle to take focus.
I like
more.
that angle because we had to read that in high school, The Old Man in the Sea, and I remember like it was very. I remember being like not attached to the fish, but I'm like if I was like if I wanted to save a guy, I'd be like, oh, we got to get our guy. We've been talking to him. There's like a relationship here. You know, there's some established context.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's established context. He needs the fish to feed his family, and it's his last big haul or whatever, and whatever the bones and all that stuff. But we're gonna whatever. It's a cool book.
It is a good book.
Yeah,
it's a cool book. But I like the way you went at the guy at the friend angle, because I do like you said with that the manly aspect. I think something that resonates with men particularly is like the brotherhood thing. Like, I'm saving my boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's something going on, and the boys are gonna fix it together.
Yeah,
that's the plan,
dude.
You know?
It's awesome. Like you watch Band of Brothers or The Pacific or whatever, and that's why people dig it.
Yeah,
it's like you picture yourself and all of your friends being in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're like, as horrific as it would be, we'd fucking kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
We get out of
this
there.
war would have been over, dude. Are you kidding me?
Me and my boys?
This war right now? We see red, dude. It would have been over right away. When I get going, there's no stopping me, man. Anyways,
Owen's ready to go to war right now.
Yeah, dude, write me something fire. We so actually the next brotherhood thing is probably gonna be Conrad saving the boys and whatnot. Actually, there's probably a lady aspect in Conrad. I don't want to spoil.
No, not in the short. Nothing to worry about in the short.
Yeah.
With
I'm
that.
feeling like feature length. There's got to be a love interest, right?
Yeah,
for
totally.
sure.
Yeah.
Connor, are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, like he's not saving the bros. I don't think.
No. Well, he's
could
kind of
be.
saving the bros, but
Yeah, he'll save the bros.
but there's also a love interest.
If there's bros, I quickly want to audition.
Anyways, do with that what you will.
Yeah, dude. So the inspiration that you got for I want to where you got that story of the spotlight situation. Where did you get the inspiration for Wild Atlantic?
There was also, my mom told me about this story, which is actually crazy. There's 2 books, but she sent me this article that this Irish newspaper did, and this was a few years ago. But there was this woman called Maureen Flavie Sweeney that lived. She was an Irish woman that lived in a lighthouse on Ireland's west coast during World War II, and she was like 18 or something when she was operating the lighthouse. But she provided weather reports for the Allies, and she was the one that essentially scheduled D-Day, like weather, using the weather.
Wow.
So
She was only 18?
so it's not that she was the one being like,
was
hey,
giving
you
the
gotta
information that they
do it at this
used.
time, but she received a weather report one day and recognized like the conditions were perfect and sent it to the Allies and was like, this is what the weather's going to be like today. And the Allies decided to do D-Day on that certain day. So it's like she's like a very small part of like the whole thing, but
Sounds like pretty big.
yeah, but also pretty big. It's like a small but big kind of story. It's like which is what I really like, that
like the start of an avalanche, like or like pushing, like she tapped the stone that rolled down the hill,
totally.
and
Exactly.
like, because I'm like,
Exactly.
how would you know that
She was the catalyst.
someone asks you the time, and it's like, oh yeah, it's whatever time. They're like, cool, beep, explosion. You're like, what? I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
So I guess you probably could have inferred because what was going on in the world at the time. But
yeah, I mean, she knew what she was doing too, but also
Okay,
like
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, how could she have ever known what D-Day would like
what it
would become.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
exactly.
assuming, I'm sure it was blatantly obvious at the time, but I'm like, I personally, if I was in her, I don't know what her situation was, but I'm just thinking if I was operating a lighthouse or just operating anything, doing my day to day, even if there's a war going on in the world, and this is so out of touch of me to say, but I'm like, I don't know if I would be thinking about like whether or not it's a good day to invade or like, you know?
No, she was providing weather reports for the Allies. Like
And I'm sure there was, like she was very, like you said, aware of it. So
yeah,
that
and she
makes
was
sense.
like aware to a certain extent, but but I had like my mom told me about that story, and she was like, "You should like write a book about that. That's like a really cool story." And I was like, "That is pretty cool," because I'd really wanted to write like an Irish book, and so I like looked into it, and then some Irish writer had written a children's book about her, about that like lighthouse, about Maureen, the lighthouse lady, and and so I was like, "Oh, you know, screw it. I can't write a nonfiction about it. I might as well just like write a book that's like kind of similar." So I kept like the lighthouse setting. I kept like a woman in the lighthouse, and then I added like a bunch of stuff to it. And I wanted to make it like an Irish, like a really like Irish story. So I thought about like what that meant to me, like being, because I was born here in Boston, but I was raised in Ireland. So like I don't have all of the same connections that like all of my friends in Ireland do that were like totally born and raised there. So I thought about what like all of that stuff meant to me. I figured it out, like the exact angle that I wanted to have, and what that really was like diaspora, which is like, you know, when you're like the Irish bloodline like sort of emigrates and extends like out from Ireland to the US. So like the Irish diaspora is like huge in Boston and New York, because a lot of like Irish Americans are here.
I grew up in the Irish Riviera.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
In the Irish Riviera,
Shout out.
exactly. So I thought about like what that meant to me and what that meant to like other people that were like Irish American or whatever. And what I came up with was that there's like this mystery that surrounds this body washing ashore at the lighthouse on the west coast of Ireland, on the Wild Atlantic Way on the west coast. And the body that washes ashore, it has the same last name as like the lighthouse lady's boyfriend. And this whole mystery extends from that, where she's like, you know, essentially she's asking why the whole time. She's like, why the same last name? Why did he wash ashore here? Like, why is all this
like,
stuff
hey,
happening?
Fergal's a common name. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, a bunch of gabagools just like washing ashore. It's just like eating gabagool.
Oh man,
But yeah, like
it is Fergal, right?
yeah, it's
Okay,
Fergal.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
So I just, I don't know. It all just like, it came like little by little, but I had reached a certain point with like the themes and like the ideas that I was like, I just need to write this thing. So I went to Mexico City for like 2 months, and I got this like little tiny apartment in Mexico City, like this little shack basically, and just like pretty much just like locked myself away in there. Like I would go to the grocery store and like taco stands and to like bars or whatever every once in a while, like every night or whatever, and just like do my thing. But during the day, I would just like lock myself in this like little.
Mexico City is not the one that's right over the border, right? You're like in the
No,
middle?
Mexico City's like in the middle of Mexico.
that's what I
It's in the
thought.
mountains basically.
Oh
Actually,
my god.
Okay.
yeah, the altitude is like higher than Denver.
It's Tijuana. I was thinking of. That's the one you
Tijuana is
can go
across
to.
the border from
Yeah.
San Diego. Yeah,
That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like a neighboring town.
yeah, pretty
except
much.
another
They're-
country.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I thought Mexico City was there. So like you're not nearby. It's not like a quick hop back.
no, it's like from Boston. I think it was like a 5 or 6 hour flight.
You're not fluent in Spanish.
I'm not fluent in Spanish. No, I'm like
It's pissing me off.
I'm like
dude.
conversational.
Oh,
He's better
that's
than
enough. That's fluent in
no.
Spanish, dude.
Yeah.
He's better than he's leading us to believe, I think.
Definitely. By the
Yeah.
way, you're talking about needing a translator, and I know that you'd be our translator
Yeah,
if we
for
showed up.
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
but at the same
and we
time-
took Spanish in high school.
Yeah, Spanish 4. Pretty dang good, dude.
Yeah, but when you're interviewing someone when you're interviewing like this guy, like the right hand man of the dictator, like I don't want to like miss any words.
Right,
I don't
well,
want to miss
there's-
anything.
yeah.
he
How
said.
much slang were you noticing? Like, did you?
So much slang.
Because
Panamanians,
Mexico to Panama's got to be different, right?
Panamanians, they speak like. What I noticed was they speak beautifully. I think it's beautiful. Maybe some people don't, but it's like very lyrical, and it's like
Okay.
Yeah, it's like lyrical. They use like a lot of metaphors and similes, and they like nobody there
bars.
says anything directly. It's always like you're saying it like with like a little sauce.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, but it's like
like
as
that.
someone who
little
doesn't
zest,
speak
yeah.
Spanish
Yeah, yeah.
like incredibly well,
Okay.
it's difficult.
We had. Oh no, you didn't have Miss Basin, did you?
No.
There was a teacher at our school.
We had Alvarez together.
Yeah, shout out. He so this teacher, she was Argentinian, and you might be familiar
yeah.
with the L's in
Of course.
the double L in
Yeah.
Argentina is the sh instead of the y.
Yeah.
So she'd be like tomates rellenos, and I'm like, I don't know how to spell that. And then I realized that I had to learn her accent on top of not understanding Spanish anyways.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting because like before that I was learning from white people speaking Spanish. So it was like my first introduction to somebody who actually had like a dialect kind of. So really, really interesting to learn about. Another thing that I saw that happen was in Narcos. If you go from Narcos to Colombia to Narcos Mexico, they're going from coño to pinche. So I'm sure you'd heard some of that too. So because coño means fuck in Spanish, just
Watch
like
your mouth.
but pinche is Mexican for fuck.
Yeah.
But it's just Mexican slang for fuck.
Yeah.
And another thing I saw recently, so like this was recently popped in my algorithm. This is just fun anecdotes for anybody. You know the movie Sicario?
Yeah.
So when they're coming up on the border, it's like a really like well done scene where they're government agents coming up on the border. They're supposed to have clearance, but there's traffic. Like there's already a problem at the border, so they can't get through. There's too many cars. So now they're like, eyes up. We don't know what's going on. Because they're also targets being very clearly government cars. So they're like looking around, they see a car. And like there's like explanations of these scenes, how like Emily Blunt's character is new to the situation. So all her shots are like wide and she doesn't know what she's looking for. It's confusing. You just see cars, you just see like loudness and broadness. But the guys who are more trained, Benicio del Toro is in it. His view is very tight. He's looking like in the windows. He's seeing people. He knows what he's looking for. He's looking for like faces and like straps, like what they might have.
Yeah.
Sees a car, identifies it. Everyone's already on it, have their guns out, ready to go. They approach the car, and Benicio del Toro, they see each other. They're now knowing like it's on. And he's saying con paz, which I heard with peace. Like with peace, no problem. But then, in the comments, people were arguing that, so they were saying the same thing, but people were arguing that the dialect he was using was compas, C-O-M-P-A-S, an abbreviation of compañero, like we're friends. But it's like the same thing, and people were arguing about it. And I was like, it's just slang, you know?
Yeah.
And like we're clearly saying the same thing. So that was kind of a long-winded way of saying like, are there things like that you encountered where you were like, I thought I knew what you were saying, but you actually thought you meant something else?
I mean, kind of. My Spanish wouldn't be like good enough to truly discern between like those small details. But if something was like totally alien to me, I'd be like, I don't understand. But if I understood something even like slightly, I would just go along with it.
Yeah,
you
context,
know what I mean? Like
you can smile and wave through
like
quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Smile and wave, and like you can pick up little pieces, and then like it was only a couple times where like I pretended like I understood something and I responded, and the person was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Gotcha. Yeah.
They'd be like, "Why are you asking me? Why are you like? Why is this your response when I ask you a question?" You know what I mean? Like,
are people typically direct? Like I know around here, if you said something to somebody, they'd be like, "Yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about?" Like they'd just be like,
"Kind of, yeah."
What is that? Is there a directness in that culture, or is there like the like, oh bless your heart kind of a thing? Like that's more like the southern way of
there's a directness, I think. Yeah, there's definitely a directness, or at least the people that I was with were just very like smart, very smart people, and like guys in that sort of were in that like political game, or like guys of that like sort of, I guess like level, if you want to call it that. They just have been like fucked over before. You know what I mean? And they know when they're being fucked over.
Yeah.
And they're on high alert. So when like me, like a gringo, was coming down to Panama to like write a book about Carlos, and I'm asking him all these sensitive questions, the first thing that's going through his head is like, what is he gonna say in the book, or like, how's he gonna frame this, or like, why is he asking me this?
I could totally see that fear. I mean, half the time I'm afraid to tell someone what I did the other day just because I'm like, you're gonna make that sound bad somehow. I don't know.
So it's all just like it's really all just like finding like a middle ground where like everybody's cool, and like all of the information all the information that I need is coming to me, but like everybody's cool, everybody's comfortable, and there like there's like very little roadblocks. So if there's like a language issue or like an understanding issue, that's why like I have a translator, because like a benefit of having a translator and also being like conversational in Spanish is I'm understanding like 75% of what's being told to me, but the person that's telling it to me might only assume that I'm understanding like 10% of it or 20% of it. So they might say different things when they don't think they're being heard. That
you ever catch someone
that
flipping?
allows me to like fill in gaps. Nothing like crazy, but like there had been situations where like I'd be in a room with like all these former like generals of Noriega, or like former like military guys of the dictator, and like I'd pretend like but like I wouldn't be speaking Spanish, like, you know, flinging it out and like having conversations. I'd be sitting there like speak when spoken to kind of thing. But these guys wouldn't necessarily realize that, and they'd be like speaking like how they'd normally speak, and then they would like address me. They'd like talk about me to like someone else at the table, and they'd be like saying shit about me, and like what usually it related to like what my motivations were. Like, you know, this gringo's sitting here, like, what do you think he's gonna write about this?
Guy
or like,
cop.
yeah, like that. Yeah,
They
like
think
that
you were
kind
a
of
cop?
attitude.
Did they ever think
must
that?
have checked you.
There, a couple people like said, like one of Carlos's children, like not called me out because I wasn't doing anything bad, but like she came at me basically, and she was like, "Why are you doing this? Like you're like you're not even from Panama. Like why do you care?" And then like a couple other people sort of were like testy about it, and they were like, "Oh, you know, why are you writing about like this dictator and whatever?" But at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter. You know,
Sounds like they don't have the control. You're there.
Yeah, like it doesn't really
yeah.
matter, because like it's a fact that they just like, first of all, don't know the right hand man's story. They've never heard like his recounting of events or whatever. And then secondly, like the history that they know is probably not even like either surface level or like nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All they know is they don't want their situation to get fucked up. So
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
don't ruin
They're
our
just-
guy. Yeah.
Or some people just like to argue.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get the territorialism of just kind of like, who's this? Like, you're in my place. I
Yeah.
don't know what you're asking. Like,
Totally.
and this is coming from like, I'm not involved in anything like that. Like, I don't know there's no reason for me to be like keeping secrets from people. And I don't want to share everything. Like, if someone comes over asking me questions, I'm going to write a book about you. Like,
You probably understood their skepticism. Like,
Yeah,
it
definitely,
makes complete
definitely.
sense.
especially given the context. So like, it totally makes sense. But also it's really fascinating to know, like, you really were there. Like, we're talking about it, and I've like referenced TV many times while we're talking about this. That's my reference to this. You were really there. So like all those feelings of like, I don't know, did you ever have like those flash moments of like, if they decide that I'm actually compromised, even if I'm not, like, you know, am I in a barrel? Like, what happens? Like, is there...
I did, but I didn't. I did, but like it was never.
You kind of have
happen.
to put it out of your head, right?
It was never gonna happen. Yeah, but like at the time, I like, you know, I was really into it, and like I fully thought that like if I really fucked up, like if I really fucked up, or if I did something like with malice, you know what I mean? Like if I was malicious to any of the people involved in this, like it might have been a possibility, but like there was no malice. Like I was essentially like telling a story. I was just telling a story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So nobody would have like whacked me over this or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But at the time, I was like freaking out about it because
I would have been. You kidding me?
I was like in it, and I was like, this guy's like killed people before, and like a lot of people.
It's nothing to him.
He's killed so many people before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When
like,
you pushed, killing's as easy as breathing. Rambo.
Seriously.
That was Rambo said
But
that.
yeah, but it's like
true.
it was true, and it was true for this guy, and I just didn't want to piss him off. But it was also one of those situations where, looking back on it, I was like, okay, like I said before, like nobody, like with Dave's story, like nobody would have ever written Dave's story, like a Crip who murdered someone when he was a teenager, went to prison. Like no one's gonna write that story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it was the same with like the right hand man. It's like nobody had access to him, first of all, but secondly, like, nobody's writing that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's like, yeah.
So yeah.
So
You take a little bit of a risk to get the story. I mean,
Risk reward, big time.
Yeah.
So I've heard, I'm going to reference this on an interview a couple times. So you kind of got context, and I don't know how much you can confirm, but Carlos had been trained in espionage in ways of, like, you referenced Mossad and kind of CIA tactic kind of things. So where did you know that going into it, and when did you pick up that was real? Because I know you mentioned the tactic of, like, you can't walk alone, and it's not like a handcuff you to the bed, very clear hostage situation. It's you just can't leave, like, but she'll be with you for sure. Like, we're watching you. There's eyes in the sky. Don't ever forget that. Like, there's that subtle tactic, and clearly that comes with. We had started to allude to that with like I'm saying it with a smile on my face kind of thing. Tony Soprano. There's a way that the boss gets to the top in that manipulative sort of way, but like with intelligence. So like, how much of that did you see? How much do you think was being done on you, and when did you learn about that?
I don't know. Definitely like a decent amount was done on me. I think I was acting like a sponge for most of it, so I was like just taking everything that like came at me. But Carlos was trained by like Mossad in the early 1970s. He was trained by the DEA. He was yeah. He was also like a CIA asset, and he was like best friends with Fidel Castro, and also like did some espionage for Cuba as well. And
what are the chances that those four organizations are actually just one?
no, I don't want to put on a tinfoil hat and start talking like that.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
I think I doubt they're all one, but like what Carlos told me, and what like the book like really sort of analyzes under like a magnifying glass is like how and why like those organizations communicated with each other and why. So for instance, like the CIA wants information on Fidel Castro, and it's the 1970s, right? They want to know what Castro's planning. They want to know what he's up to. This is, post missile crisis and post Bay of Pigs and all this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the US and the CIA is like, how do we do this? We can either recruit Cuban citizens to spy from the inside and provide us information. We can hire Cubans that are outside of Cuba, and they can come back into Cuba and
Has
whatever.
that been the case? Could Cubans?
Yeah.
I guess if you're a naturalized citizen, right? But not like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand like the immigration fully, but that's like part of what like the Bay of Pigs was, and the Bay of Pigs was like using Cubans that fled Cuba during Castro's revolution, and the CIA worked with them and promised them that the U.S. military would back them up if they like re-invaded Cuba.
U.S. military always follows through.
Except this stuff.
He said sarcastically.
But anyway, like talking about the intelligence stuff, but there was just like very little trust for like all these spies or whatever. But Carlos was a Panamanian spy, Noriega's right hand man, had direct access to Castro and also to the US. So if the US was like, hey, we need information about Castro, they learned not to try like plant spies in Cuba. They learned to go to guys like Carlos instead and said, hey, if you can find out what's going on here, we'll give you this. So then Carlos hears this offer. Carlos and guys like Carlos hear this offer, and they're like, that might be worth it. So then they just call up Castro, or they call up somebody in Cuba and they're like, hey, the CIA wants to know about this. You willing to give up this information for like this much money or for like this benefit? And then they'd be like, yes or no. And if it's a yes, then the information just passes from Cuba to Panama, Panama to the US. And it's a business. That's like just how it worked. So I honestly don't know if that even fully answers the question, but it's like,
it gives context to the question, definitely, because I know that, again, through Narcos and my understanding of the real events that took place at that time, first of all those three-letter agencies weren't interacting. So there was all sorts of like tentacles deep in any of those organizations, and like DEA could be speaking to CIA and not even know. They're like getting information from each other, and it could even be bad information. Like, so
yeah.
But just the economics of that, of selling information, where like, again, we assume, I would like to assume leaders are acting with integrity and are going to be like, we believe, that's what I'm saying. I like to assume it, but especially with the history that Central and South America have, and obviously the U.S. has it too. It's not just all these other countries. It's you guys might also be in some ways involved. But what I've learned is that like the CIA in South America could basically do whatever they wanted, and like they made context. They add context. I'm using the word too much. In Narcos, of where they show, and I keep referencing the show, but it's like real life events. So this stuff did happen where like, the DEA is working with a cartel deep in the jungle, and they're like providing them planes and guns and rockets and stuff. And they're like, all right, we're going to come get out this other cartel that's giving us real problems. So, but we're working with you for now. And they're like, oh, like this model? Oh, we got the other model last time. And they're like, what do you mean last time? And they're like, from the CIA. So like these cartels like were directly working with U.S. government agencies for years sometimes, and had relationships, and even like we're familiar with the equipment to the extent that like until our agencies started working together, there was shit like that where like there was this huge web, this huge fucking mess of like nobody knew who was talking to who or who knew what. So
such a mess.
I can see governments like that taking advantage, where like, you know, maybe fake information was shared, or maybe like, I'll give that information, but now I'm going to change my plan, like kind of a thing. Or I'm sure quite a bit of that happened, and seeing and there's probably things you may have heard, or just like you don't want to give too much light to, but the espionage piece of that, I think, is incredible, and I'm not sure if there's like a true like right answer, because I think the way, especially in the 70s and 80s, there was so much going on in that world and I think it still affects us today. And,
the trickle down is like, you know, you see in the news today a lot of stuff about like Mexico and Venezuela, obviously, but like, you know, bombing the boats and stuff like that, and like. It's all, not that it's like a product of what happened in Colombia, because before Colombia, like Bolivia and Peru were like, that's where like cocaine was like manufactured and whatever. And I'm no expert on this like whatsoever, but I do know like in the 1970s, mid 1970s, Colombia like made a name for itself with Escobar and the Ochoas. By the 80s, they like ruled the entire trade. You know, if you listed it on the NASDAQ, it would be like one of the wealthiest companies in the world. You know what I mean? Like that
crazy
kind of thing. After
still might be.
Yeah. Well, after Escobar was like taken out in like in the 90s, a lot of that trade and like a lot of that production like shifted to Mexico. And because of that, you know, the cartels in Mexico just became so much more powerful. And then you have a lot of like now cartel influence, or like, I don't even want to say now, since then, like in the last 30 years, like the cartel influence in the politics is like crazy. And people are, you look at like with the
Miguel Felix Gallardo.
Yeah. With their current president, people are like,
but that was corrupt election, right? Because they lost ballots or burnt
I think
ballots.
So. I actually have no idea. I can't even really talk to it. But like, I know before this lady that's president now, there was AMLO, Andreas the Andreas guy, and like, you know, people were pissed off about him having connections, and then this lady comes in and people are pissed off about her having connections, but it's just like, it's all a product of like the Escobar stuff, but it's not like it's not like they were ideological and spread their ideology. It's that they just like sort of were created at like the right place at the right time, where like, you know, the interest of the US was still stopping the spread of communism, and the drug trade was so new that nobody knew what to do about it. You know what I mean? Like the US's focus was still, it was the Cold War. It's like stopping the spread of communism, but then the two became so intertwined. Like, how could any leader know what to do in a situation like that? So I don't know. It just
Is it crazy that Oliver North just got a job on Fox News after making that whole shit happen?
He
Isn't
got
that crazy?
a job on Fox News?
Yeah, he was like a news anchor. Yeah, there's
crazy.
actually a whole American Dad. If anyone ever watches American Dad,
Yeah, I know the American Dad thing.
where he's like, Ollie North.
That's about the Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, right? It's
Yeah.
like related to that. Yeah, well, Oliver North he was part of that. That was like his whole thing. And he was the guy that just said, he's still alive. Jesus.
Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah.
He went testified in front of Congress and he just said, I do not recall.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
But I mean, it was him and John Poindexter were like the two main guys. And then there was like this other guy, Richard Secord, who wrote this great book called Honored and Betrayed, where he like talks about it. But like those guys like just fell on their sword. You know what I mean? Like they were like the main guys like involved in the whole affair, like the whole scandal.
Yeah.
But like the trial, you can watch the entire trial on YouTube, and there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of like the testimonies and stuff like that. It's so boring, like it's impossible to get through. But while writing this book, I would like watch them going to sleep every night. And I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, it's a production. Like the whole thing just like it literally just felt like, it's like, okay, let's just give the American public like what they need to know that like a trial and an investigation took place. And then let's just, and like, you know, they got in trouble for it, like North and Poindexter, like they got in trouble for it, but then Bush became president in 88 and like, and pardoned them for it.
Yeah, I was going to say the American Dad joke is he got off totally scot-free.
Totally scot-free, because Bush was director of the CIA in the 1970s. But like the Bushes like were the CIA, and they probably still are. I really don't know, but like at
Does
that
the CIA
time,
always just fuck with intoxicants, because they were all over alcohol just before that, right?
yeah, well, that's like the whole thing, because I know like there was a bunch of like declassified stuff where like, you know, like the crack epidemic and like
They were putting it in the cities.
MK Ultra and like all
yeah.
that shit. Like they absolutely fucked with drugs.
Definitely.
And I know for a fact from Carlos, and also just from like declassified files, like the Barry Seal stuff, where they had like drug pilots, like, and they had those.
Was he responsible for Barry Seal?
Carlos,
We'll cut it out.
no. Carlos didn't know Barry Seal. But he knew like those guys that did that, because they passed through Panama and they paid their fee to Noriega.
Gotta be pretty cool to have pilot skills, and you're just like, I can make $1 million a drop, no big deal.
It's kind of sweet, but
Scary,
but probably terrifying.
Yeah.
Wow. Was Carlos like? Did you like him?
I loved Carlos.
Really?
I really did.
It's a good question. We've been talking all about the abstract. Like what was he like as a guy?
Carlos
Yeah.
is a great, honestly,
day to day. Yeah,
I think he was objectively a great man. And what I mean by that is that he had these sort of like, he had like his like core values that he stuck to for his entire life, and like that really was like taking care of his family first and preserving his legacy, and everything that like he did was sort of motivated by those two things, where he made sure his family was taken care of, and then on top of that, he made sure that like his own legacy and like his bloodline would continue to live on in like an effective way, which is it's sort of like a traditional way of like, I guess, thinking about it.
little Genghis
like,
Khan-y.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like not that I live that way like whatsoever, but I think what he did in his own personal life was for like legitimate reason. Like he he just like he was very intentional with like how he lived his life, which is why I call him a great man. Obviously, he committed atrocities on behalf of like a literal dictator. It's crazy to make that statement and have like both be true, but I fully believe it. Like I lived with the guy. Like he like acted a certain way because like I was writing his story. Like he wasn't going to be a dick to me, and like I wasn't going to write this book being like, oh well, Carlos is a fucking asshole.
Right. Yeah,
He knew that, but at the same time, like you can tell a lot about people by like their friends, and I met like a shitload of Carlos's friends, and yeah, a lot of them had like interesting pasts, let's just say. Interesting pasts and some interesting presents. But for the most part they all just had like solid things to say about him, which is kind of crazy. But I really did love him. Like I just got on so well with him, and I say I loved him because Carlos is dead now. He died like,
oh shit.
Yeah, he died in March.
I did
he
not
died,
know
like,
that.
Oh my god.
Okay, I was
he
going to ask
died,
if
like,
you were still in touch.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 or 7 months before the book was released.
Wow.
He died. So I
Oh,
literally
man.
got him like on his deathbed.
That's crazy.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
how old was he when you were dealing with him?
He died. He was 82. No, 82 or 83. 82 when he died. I got him when he was 80 to 82.
Wow. Okay, I was picturing a younger guy. That's
I was
crazy.
too, actually.
So so what were like the? Did you ever see any just like human? I mean, you had to have. Like, what were like the human quirks you saw? Like when he's making his coffees, you got to shake the sugar. Like, what's the like thing? Like, what's he doing? Does he make his coffee? Does someone else do it?
There was a maid doing it.
Is he nice to the maids?
Yeah, he's nice to the maids.
Okay, cool.
That's
You gotta
important.
be, right?
No,
Gotta be.
he was nice to anyone that was sort of like in his
Presence.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he just like he wasn't like a dick to anyone, but
You also don't get there being a dick. People aren't going to be.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to be
True, true.
firm.
he could control people. Like he could get his way if he wanted to. But he also like he understood when somebody was smarter than him too. Like I was in situations with him where he like was sort of controlling like one side of the room, and then there was this other guy there that was like a very smart dude, like
Okay.
a political player.
How do you mean controlling one side of the room? Like where
he could like he
Are
could
you
almost
out
like
in a
intoxicate
restaurant?
you with like his presence, where like he
like holding court kind of a thing?
yeah,
Like,
sort
I
of like
see,
he
yeah.
it's like those kind of people where like they just enter a room and like
Yeah.
they're there, right?
Everyone's focus is on
We were
them.
talking about him
Yeah.
at the beginning of the episode, actually.
Yeah, where there's somebody in your presence that just like they have like aura or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what the kids call it nowadays.
Yeah, that's
It
what
used to
kids
be
call it.
swag. Now
Yeah.
it's
Now
aura.
it's aura.
Yeah.
But Carlos had like that aura, right? He would walk into a room, everybody would understand that he's there, but he took it like a step further where he was like very interactive. So no matter who you were or whatever, like he would involve you in things, but it was intentional. Like it was a way for him to get everybody on his side like immediately, because that's what he always had to do. Like if he walked into a room where there was risk or any slight danger, like he would just kill the tension using his personality and like get people on his side, like doing that. So
Charisma king.
Yeah,
That's
like,
fun.
Riz.
it really
Yeah,
is.
Riz.
It really
Shout
is.
out.
Yeah, charisma, Riz.
Shout
But
out to Riz.
but I say controlling because like it was really intentional. Like he was really good at it, and like you would be in his presence, and he just had you. You know, he had you.
I mean, you kind of have to be. To be a leader, you got to have that. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. As far I want to keep asking about your experiences, but I feel like we've gone through the hits.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, was there any recreational day, or like was it all business?
No, there were recreational days. Like we would, there were days like we drank a lot. Like we drank a lot.
You mentioned that. I was listening to a podcast
Yeah.
on the way here, and you were like, he got you drunk.
He got me like fucked up.
Was
Yeah.
that maybe on purpose?
It was on purpose. It was on purpose.
This
I
is
would
Mossad
say,
tactics.
yeah, I would say it was on purpose for sorry, on purpose on the first 2 trips.
How many trips total?
I did 4, like where I was interviewing Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 of them, he got you fucked up.
Yeah, the first 2, like I was like fucked up, like talking to him. The third one, I kind of was too, but yeah,
And he was drinking too.
Yeah, he was drinking. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like he was drinking too. So it was on purpose, but it was more just like a cultural thing, I think, because like those guys down there, like those like gangster like narco guys, like they do get fucked up, and like Carlos, that's essentially who he was. You know what I mean? Like he was one of those guys, even though he was a lot. So Carlos was so smart. Like he was a lot more of like a diplomat, sort of. He was a strong-armed diplomat, I would say, instead of like a gangster or like a drug lord guy.
I think that's the better way to be.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, probably be Carlos.
Cool. Yeah.
It sounds like it, I think. Yeah.
But he was
If I
like, I mean, he
had
was
to.
like that. Yeah, he was so smart, but he also, he had his edge, you know?
Yeah. That is cool. Do you see any softness?
Yeah, totally. I mean, he like
Everyone's
talked
got
about
a
his
little soft
childhood, stuff like that. Like, I really, you have to get to know someone like right down to their core. Like, what's essentially like for him, it was like a memoir. For me, it was like I was taking his memoir and then like using it to like frame the book in the way that I intended to, which like would tell like a bigger story than just like one guy's story.
Yeah.
So he wanted you to paint him in a good light, obviously.
He wanted his legacy to be preserved. I wanted to tell a story about like essentially like US imperialism or like the invisible hand of the CIA and the US government like meddling with Latin American politics.
I gotta read this. I meant to read this before the episode, but I'm definitely gonna check this out.
I gotta check
I'm
it
checking
out
them
too.
all out because you've roped me in. I like the way you write. I think
Definitely.
I think there's some movie
I like
deals.
the way you go about finding your stories. I mean,
I really
the
like
effort,
that.
the effort to travel and take risks and talk to people that nobody else is talking to.
Also,
It's
shout
really
out to your mom
impressive.
for being plugged in.
Yeah,
I know,
Good
right?
stories,
True,
Yeah.
Two books.
Yeah, that's
that's a
awesome.
big
She
deal.
killed it.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, she killed it.
So I want to something that I find like super interesting is like I'm gonna give you an example, and it has nothing to do with this, but I'm gonna ask how it relates. So like, if you were ever in school and you're rushing to class, you're a little late, rushing, and let's say you pop open the door, wrong class. That class, you are running, like you're scared, your heart's running, like racing, high energy. Open the door, it's a calm class, it's quiet. Also, wrong class. So like all that energy is like, huh? To you. So it's not an exact parallel, but the reason I find that like clash, that juxtaposition of energies where like the stress, the panic, the fear of like I'm late, something's happening, everyone's already where they're supposed to be, who are you? So you had times with Carlos. You I'm sure you guys went through all the emotions together. I imagine there had to have been a time where you're laughing. Had it ever popped into your mind, like you're laughing with a guy that like maybe quick, this might happen to me. This is just something that happens to me. Is like I'm laughing, I'm sitting there, I'm having a good time. And then a quick flash of like him, maybe you might see you weren't there, but it's like some graphic image of him doing something to somebody or something. And you're
I
like,
see what you're
this
saying.
is the same guy.
I could see that
And you're like,
happening.
I'm
yeah.
laughing with them. Like, how is that like, and I know you mentioned like the great man, you were able to see through it, you found your ways, but like, did something like that ever happen where you kind of really like came in that reality?
Kinda. I see what you're saying. And
Yeah.
this is honestly like a funny story, but it is what you're describing. Carlos and I had just gone out to like his buddy's apartment, who like is the son of like some Air Force guy under Noriega. Like he was inside like the inner circle, like they were all trusted. And we went, and like all these guys gave like testimonies about Carlos. They told me a bunch of stories about him, and I put them in the book or whatever. But we were drinking all night, and like it was a really fun night too. And it was late. It was like midnight. We get back to Carlos's apartment, and his girlfriend goes to bed, and Carlos turns on the TV, and Scarface comes on the TV. The Al Pacino.
How does he
Scarface,
feel about that?
Right? So comes on the TV, and we're sitting there watching it, like drinking whiskey.
That is crazy.
And in my head, and in
What
my
part of the movie?
it was about like 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Okay.
And
Wow.
and I was in the back of my head, I was like, I can't believe I'm watching Scarface with like
With someone
with
who's
Carlos.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then there's a scene where Michelle Pfeiffer and Al Pacino fight, and Al Pacino's like in a hot tub, and it's like closer to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
this is
know
like
that
right
scene.
before
Yeah.
the climax and,
And
such. yeah.
after they fight, Al Pacino like rips a line of coke like
Yep.
while he's in the hot tub, and and it cuts to the next scene, and Carlos just turns to me and he goes, "You see, very very bad." And he was basically, he's like, this stuff like ruins relationships, like don't do it. And,
yeah,
Yeah.
true story.
and I thought it was just so funny because I was like,
That is hilarious.
yeah, because when he said it, I was just like, oh my god, like, yeah, you know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Like,
You would be the one to tell me
First
that.
hand,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he is teaching his kids? Like they're not.
His
going
kids are
near
great.
anything
I'm in
like
touch with
that,
his
right?
kids, like even to this. I was
Really?
was sending voice messages to his one of his sons, like 10 minutes before I saw you guys.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
yeah,
What?
I'm pretty close with a couple of his sons.
Well, I imagine, especially since he's passed, you guys
Yeah,
would want
since
to
he
be
passed.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're honestly they're great kids. Like they're older than I can't even call them kids because they're older than I am. But they've been nothing but good to me. They have helped. They have like a particular relationship with their dad. Nothing I can speak to because like I don't know. But
I
like they
feel like
each
they
have their
must
own
been
relationship with him.
separated,
Yeah.
right? Like they weren't involved in that at all. I imagine, right?
Yeah, no, they were separated. They were
Yeah.
also like some of them weren't even born when a lot of this stuff happened. Like he had them later and some of them before, and they're all spread out with like
Yeah.
different wives or mothers. But yeah, but all the ones I've met are great, honestly, and a lot of them are still in touch.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I imagine. I mean, like, we were talking about the Sopranos parallel before. It's like if you've ever seen the Sopranos, like they don't want their kids in that at all. Like they're raising a family.
Yeah.
This is a means to an end. We're not. We don't care what happens outside, but we do care what happens inside, and that's like
Yeah.
how they cared about their family, how that affected the members of the family. I'm not sure. That's just the dynamic. It sounds like they did pretty well, but also with the resources that you have, like I imagine private schools, I imagine probably whatever
Yeah.
you want, like, and the clout and probably some protection and things like that. So the upbringing is probably, you know, for the sacrifice that goes into it, probably not bad for the kids. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a bright side of it, but you know, it's
Who knows? I don't know. I did ask the kids about their upbringing, but it's not really like a part of the story or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably not worth involving. But yeah,
No,
it's
not
actually
really.
probably a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting. So I feel like we did hit the big. We're coming up on 2 hours now, so we can probably approach landing. So we got Cillian Dunne on all platforms.
Yeah.
Cillian with a C, Dunne with an E at the end. We're gonna put it up. No merch. Do you have merch or anything like that?
No merch, just books.
We're gonna
Just
get
books.
author merch soon. Yeah, his merch is books.
His merch is books. Buy the books.
Yeah, and buy it. Don't do that Kindle thing.
Yeah.
Or do you get a piece if you? If
I get a piece for Kindle.
okay, so it,
How does that work? How do you get paid?
It's
from Kindle?
so it's
Well, they probably-
it's
you probably
two,
pay,
yeah,
right?
it's two pronged. There's if some people pay like Amazon Extra for Kindle Unlimited, where they get to read like free books, and then they also if you don't do that, some people just like buy Kindle books and download them to their Kindles. So my book, The Right Hand Man, is available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you pay for that every month, then you can read the book for free.
Okay.
And I get paid by number of pages read.
Okay,
So
cool.
like let's say like 10 people read the book in entirety, that's like 4,000 pages.
Yeah.
I get paid for like 4,000 pages read.
Okay.
And then if they're not Kindle Unlimited, then they're just buying the ebook on Kindle regularly. I just get like a fixed rate like per ebook sold.
Sweet. All
Yeah,
right.
that's good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out.
Absolutely.
I imagine you're gonna have to put some of these to movies, so I hope that's in the
Dude,
works.
I hope so. That's
yeah,
the plan.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Connor,
I would. Yeah.
free yourself up, or maybe get some more connects that can
Yeah,
make this happen.
I know, that's the plan, dude. Well, The Right Hand Man, absolutely. That's like, I mean, so many people have tried to make this movie before. There's actually, this is like a really crazy story that I'll tell like very briefly. But after The Right Hand Man came out, I was on Newbury Street and I get a text from this girl, this Irish girl in LA that I know. And she says, hey, there's this Irish screenwriter that lives in LA that wants to talk to you. This is his name. Do you want to talk to him? And I was like, this is kind of strange, but sure. This guy calls me right away. He's like, hey, I just saw you on this podcast talking about The Right Hand Man and all the stuff that you did. He's like, I'm writing a script about this guy called Gary DeVore. Have you ever heard of him? And I was like, no, I haven't heard of him. He's like, he was a screenwriter in the mid-90s who was writing about the exact same thing that I wrote about to a certain extent. He was writing about Noriega and the U.S. invasion of Panama. And, yada, yada, yada. They find the writer with his hands chopped off in the in like, not the desert, but in like in somewhere in California, in Southern California, with his hands chopped off in his car, and his laptop with the script on it was taken, right? And so this guy calls me out of the blue. Calls me out of the blue, right? And I'm on Newbury Street with my girlfriend, and he tells me this, and I'm like, dude, like, do you want me to shit my pants? I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And I look it up. That guy didn't
know about Dropbox because he could.
Yeah,
they took the fucking.
I look it up and like I'm sure everything that everybody says happened, like actually did happen, because like it's been so long that the story it's had time to like marinate and people to like investigate it. But the guy calls me and he says all this shit, and I'm just like, dude, like, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Why would you say that to me after all this? So I'm glad he did. Like, he's actually a good guy, but yeah, it is like, it's intimidating, like doing it and whatever.
I would say so.
Yeah, and I said off the top, there's a huge bravery to what you did, because like we're talking about it. It's one of those things like you can talk about. There's an abstractness to it. I've never been there. I don't know what it really feels like. I'm talking about it. I've seen the shows, but it's like, you really were there and you put yourself there. You got on the plane. Like, it got real and more real. Like, your first meeting, I can't imagine like what that must have been like. And settling into it and then starting to feel like you got to know him. Like, the first time losing your bearings, being drunk around a cartel leader or somebody who's involved with whatever, it's like, what's going on? Like, that's crazy.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. It really so is. I admire you for that. And one other thing I wanted to ask. I love the brogue. We got to get some audiobooks, dude.
I know. I have to. They're just expensive to do.
Are they?
Kind of. I mean, if you want to do it like the right way, with like sound effects and stuff like it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, I could probably record you. No, with the sound effects, yeah.
You could like, in theory, you could just like doing audio with like the author like reading the book or whatever. But I know for The Right Hand Man, which I'm planning on doing. Maybe we'll talk. I mean, if you guys want to do it,
I'd be down.
All it really would take is it's just 2 actors, one for the chapters that I read. So like, would either be me or like an Irish guy with like a better voice, and then the other chapters.
You have to do it.
I could do it, yeah. And then the other chapters would have to just be like someone with like a Latin voice, either like preferably Panamanian, but.
So that can't be us. Reverse fist bump track.
Colombian or Costa Rican or whatever. But somebody like Latin with,
I don't qualify.
And that's all it would take. That and then plus sound effects.
I'm gonna have to cut out this whole episode to be able to try to pass. I'm gonna have to delete the podcast and then try to pass myself as Latin American. I love that idea. I love that you want to do it right. The sound effects hadn't even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think about that either.
Yeah,
they do that a lot with audiobooks, sound effects.
So it's more of like a podcast thing. Like, it's more of like a thriller or like true crime podcast kind of thing. But like why not? You know what I mean?
Why not?
It's like,
this is a true crime podcast.
Yeah, it's like
whole book.
It's just like, it would make it so much more immersive. It would. You know what I mean? And
I
like
agree.
shit like that. So, and it does make it way more expensive, but it's like, I don't know, why not do it? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I think there's an emerging market for audiobooks that maybe is not emerging, maybe it's emerged, but I just feel like so many people drive and listen to podcasts, and it's like, I mean, personally, if I had actually invested myself into the audiobook world, I probably would have read every book in the world. I've listened to so much audio in the car.
Yeah.
I
It's the
really
same
do
as
need,
listening to a podcast, basically.
I need
It's
to
like
get
the
on
same thing.
audiobooks to be dead serious with you.
Yeah.
Same. I've been saying that too.
So I will be keeping an eye out for that. I'm also going to get the physical books because you know me. I'm an OG guy.
Cool.
I love physical stuff. So
Nice.
I'm really excited about that. So yeah, thank you again for coming on. We got Cillian Dunne everywhere. No underscores, no numbers or anything.
Nope.
Cillian with a C, Dunne with an E. We're putting it up. You'll see it. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's www.therighthandmanbook.com.
therighthandmanbook.com. Oh, so
Yeah.
this is book exclusive. It's not like a Cillian website.
It's not like a Cillian Dunne website,
Gotcha.
but just for the right hand man.
But coming soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon, Cillian Dunne website.
Yeah,
probably.
coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds
yeah.
good. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Keep an eye out for what's
absolutely.
coming next.
This was awesome.
Movie promos, I think, are being cut now. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Nice.
That was good.